great viewing on the boxing show. Something that sort of has come out of that is that you get the impression whatever discipline he chose to fight in, he would be successful. Obviously, the Ngannou story, fighting in mixed martial arts. Ngannou obviously is a UFC star. Dillian Whyte said, make that fight, I'll fight him. There is a bit of interest for it online. Would you be open to that, or do you want to sort of get him concentrating on boxing?
It's not just interest online. There's huge interest everywhere for that fight. When I first started discussing it, it was just something that had been mentioned. People have always, fans of both disciplines have always said, Whyte against Ngannou is a cracker. And I've started to receive a lot of interest from numerous people about staging that fight now. I think it does colossal numbers. It's the first real genuine crossover fight. I know we had Floyd and we had Conor, but this is a different kind of fight. This is a different kind of just a different kind of experience. This is brutality at its absolute rawest, and this fight does huge numbers. It's got the boxing fans, it's got the MMA fans, it's got the intrigue, it's got everything. I never really thought we would take this too seriously, but in the last week, we have to take this seriously. So the aim for Dillian Whyte is to become a world boxing champion, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Dillian Whyte against Ngannou towards the end of this year. Obviously, we know Povetkin's next, but whether it's October, November, December, I'm going to be reaching out to Dana White and saying, "Tell me how this works. Can we actually do this? Are we doing it in a ring? Are we doing it in a cage? Are we doing one round of each? I don't know, but it's really got a lot of momentum and a lot."
Those are the words from Eddie Hearn, everyone, as in regards to Dillian Whyte taking on Ngannou. Okay, Ngannou is a UFC star. He's knocked out the last 4 of his opponents. He's on a roll right now. Dillian Whyte, on the other hand, has been sitting in limbo. He hasn't lost since his knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, which was years ago. And there's been a lot of buzz around this fight, a lot of intrigue. Dillian Whyte used to be a kickboxer. I think that's worth mentioning, simply because Ngannou's a UFC star, and I feel that the fight could happen. I do disagree with Eddie Hearn with this is the first real crossover fight. No, the first real crossover fight was Floyd and Conor, okay? And he knows how massive it is, or how many numbers it could do based on the first time it actually happened. The first time it happened, it almost topped the #1 ranking pay-per-view all-time fight, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, or Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, right? I don't want to piss people off this morning, but that was the highest, and it almost topped that. At 4.4 million pay-per-view buys, that's the second highest grossing event that we will ever have, or as of right now, right? And I like how Floyd took and grabbed the opportunity and called the shots. And I'm going to explain why. Eddie Hearn says that his priority, or his intention, or his goals for Dillian Whyte is for him to be a world champion. Well, I think his intentions to be a world champion is second to Anthony Joshua becoming undisputed. You know what I mean? I think Eddie wants Anthony to have it because Anthony's more marketable. He's the highest paid heavyweight, period, that we have right now. Probably the highest paid athlete. So Dillian Whyte does not come close to what his intentions are for Anthony Joshua. So I don't believe that, because if so, then he wouldn't call Dana White to ask, how are we going to do this? He would call Dana White and make a proposal to, hey, let's propose this is going to be in the boxing ring, not in the UFC. You see what I'm saying? That's only fair if you want him to stay on this side of the platform, because if he goes over there and he might get hurt, he might get injured, and if he does get any of those, right, that could make his mandatory for WBC. That's all Mauricio has to know. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, he's gone. Right? So that's another excuse that they can throw at him. So I don't think that him going into the cage would be a good idea against Ngannou. I think he should do the same thing Floyd did. Floyd, in fact, made it, no, we're not doing any elbows, knees, feet, none of that. We're getting gloves on. Limit yourself. Fight with hands, with wraps, with gloves only. Right? Nothing else. Even though Conor landed a lot of illegal back fists, right? Hammer fists, rather. But, you know, of course, that's illegal. You know, you can't, he didn't supposed to do it. But Whyte versus Ngannou, it would be good. I would love to see it, though. It looks like an action fight. It does. An action fight with two heavyweights, right? And see, the thing about Dillian Whyte, he's crazy enough to jump in there with him. But he shouldn't. Because if he knew what was on the line or he knew where his position was, he could lose that if he gets hurt in a fight like that. Where would he stand? He could think like, well, I could still keep it, but he might get injured. You know what I'm saying? Because those type of things happen in the UFC in the cage, people. But according to Dillian Whyte, according to Eddie Hearn, the Whyte and Ngannou fight can happen. You know, they've been talking a lot of smack back and forth. They've been saying what they're going to do to each other or whatever. Dillian Whyte calls him a coward. Ngannou calls him a non-existent fighter that he doesn't know who he is. So guess what? These guys have a score to settle, and I would love to see that fight. So, you know, that would be good for Eddie Hearn if he could get a crossover fight like that because he sees the potential in it, bar none. That's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.